Today, we're diving into how to build a digital crime lab, literally from the ground up. And I'll tell you right now, you should probably forget everything you've seen in the movies, because who's building these labs and why? Well, that might just surprise you. So, when I say forensics lab, what pops into your head? Probably a scene straight out of CSI, right? Investigators and lab coats working for the police. But what if I told you that's really only half the story these days? That's right. Pretty much every crime you can think of has some kind of digital component now. That means police labs are absolutely swamped with evidence, and it's creating these massive backlogs that can last for months or even years. So to speed things up, huge private companies, we're talking tech giants, major retailers, banks, they're stepping in. They're building their own in-house labs with capabilities that can sometimes even blow past what law enforcement has. But get this, this isn't some cheap side project. Even for the most bare-bones, one-person lab, you are looking at a minimum cost of over $150,000 a year. And that's really just the price to get in the door. So how exactly do you spend all that cash? Well, it all starts with the physical space. Before you even think about plugging in a computer, you have to build a fortress, a place designed from the ground up to protect the integrity of every single piece of evidence that comes through the door. Just look at how specialized this space is. This is not your typical office layout. You've got these isolated workstations for analysis, and critically, a super secure evidence storage room. Every single part of this design is there to maintain something called the chain of custody. Think of it as a verifiable paper trail of who handled the evidence and when. It is absolutely crucial for court. And the security? It's intense. We're talking about a single, heavily monitored entrance. Ideally, no windows at all. The walls are soundproofed to stop anyone from eavesdropping. You need biometrics to get in, which logs every single entry. And of course, cameras cover every inch. The bottom line is this: the physical building itself is the first line of defense in making sure your evidence will actually hold up in court.
Okay, so once your fortress is secure, it's time for the fun part, filling it with all the high-tech gear that's going to crack the cases. This is where the lab gets its real power.
And you can forget about your standard office PC. A forensic workstation is an absolute monster. We're talking at least 24 gigs of RAM, dual processors, and a mix of super fast and high-capacity storage. I mean, these machines have to run for days, sometimes weeks on end, cracking passwords or sifting through mountains of data. That's why an advanced cooling system isn't a luxury, it's a flat-out necessity. Now, this little gadget is probably the most important piece of hardware you've never heard of. It's called a write blocker. And what it does is pretty simple, but it's genius. It makes sure that when an investigator plugs in a piece of evidence, like a hard drive, they can only read from it. They can't write, change, or delete a single byte of data, not even by accident. This thing is fundamental to preserving the evidence exactly as it was found. Now, when it comes to the software, you basically have two main paths you can go down. On one side, you've got the commercial heavy hitters, like Ncase and FTK. Yeah, they're expensive, but they come with full support, and they're widely accepted in court. On the other side, you've got these incredibly powerful open source tools, like the Sleuth Kit. They're free, they're driven by the community, and they're often highly specialized for specific tasks. Most labs, they're smart. They use a combination of both.
But, all this incredible technology is totally useless without the right people, and, just as important, the right procedures. The human element, that is the true cornerstone of a credible lab.
The lab manager is so much more than just an IT person. They are the quality control for the entire operation. They literally write the rulebook. They approve every tool. They train the team, and they even review an examiner's testimony before it gets anywhere near a judge. They are personally responsible for the lab's credibility.
And this quote right here, it just nails why those procedures are so important. Every single step an examiner takes, every tool they use, every observation they make, it all has to be documented with painstaking detail. A case might not go to court for years, and that documentation is the only thing that guarantees an examiner's testimony is accurate and unshakable.
So you've built the fortress, you've assembled the toolkit, and you've hired the experts. There's just one final step, kind of like the final boss, to becoming a truly top-tier, trusted lab. And that final step is accreditation. An outside body like the American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors, or ASCLD for short, comes in and basically audits your entire operation. They look at everything: your physical security, your tools, your training, your documentation. Earning that accreditation is the ultimate seal of approval. It proves to a court of law that your findings are based on the highest industry standards and can be trusted.
So as our phones, our watches, and heck, even our refrigerators become potential witnesses in every crime, the need for these labs is only going to explode. The question isn't whether we'll need more of them. The question is, who's going to be stepping up to build them? And what does it mean when private companies start commanding the tools of digital justice?